Well, it is the administration that doesn't sleep. It just keeps on rolling forward with its agenda. We have massive amounts of news coming out any given day, and over the weekend we had a whole bunch more news come out. So I'm going to just share with you some of the wins and losses of stuff that's going on out there. We're going to talk about Hyundai. We're going to talk about a bunch of companies investing in the United States, moving manufacturing here. We got updates on the tariffs. We got attacks on Tesla vehicles out there in Texas. We got a cabinet meeting to talk about. We got gas prices to talk about. We got RFK is going to be banning the promotion of pharmaceutical drugs on television. And Iran's ready to talk about nuclear weapons. So we got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And these are the things the mainstream media either brushes under the rug or doesn't really want you to know about in the first place. Let's start right where they want us to stop. And that is Tesla stock. Tesla stock. We had Tim Walz, the guy that you don't even remember already, governor of somewhere, who used to be running for vice president, was out there dancing on stage talking about how wonderful it was and how much it made his heart fill with glee to watch an American company, Tesla, go down in stock value. Well, it's up 20%. So since he said that. So good luck with that. Good luck with helping turn the company around. He's not quite as good at stock trading as Nancy Pelosi is. You can just see that, you know. She's really good at it. She knows stuff that we don't know. Tim Walz, he's the guy that buys he buys at the top and sells at the bottom. All right, speaking of investments, we got some companies who are like, you know what? Let's invest in America. Let's invest in the good old US of A. Hyundai announced $21 billion worth of investments in a steel company as well as into moving some of their manufacturing back to the United States to avoid tariffs. And it's not just them. We got whole countries that are deciding to invest in the United States due to President Trump courting them and asking them to invest in the United States. The United Arab Emirates, a country that you think about so very often, I'm sure, they have agreed to invest $1.4 trillion into manufacturing here in the United States. So they're going to come over to the United States and make American jobs. You understand what's happening right now? This is the world upside down. And the Biden administration, the Obama administration, we give money to everybody else, and we get nothing in return. Now, we're seeing that it's the opposite. Other countries are giving us money to help us have jobs. I like the new order of things. So United Arab Emirates, $1.4 trillion. Saudi Arabia, $600 billion to invest in the U.S. Not just countries, though. We got Apple, $500 billion into building stuff here, manufacturing here in the United States. American jobs. NVIDIA is going to invest $100 billion. TSMC, that's the chip making company over in Taiwan, they're going to invest $100 billion. OpenAI is going to invest another $100 billion. And we got Rolls-Royce is also going to move their car production back to the United States to avoid tariffs. So next time you hear somebody say tariffs don't work, you go, I could see how you could say that, but you're wrong because they do, and we have so much data to show that that has worked. We have devastated the Chinese economy with the last round tariffs. Remember back during the first administration, President Trump started hitting China with a whole bunch of tariffs? And everybody moved their manufacturing out of China. China's economy, its manufacturing, has been devastated. Apple moved all of its production to other countries, and now is finally starting to move some of it back to the United States. It works. All right, genetic testing company 23andMe has filed for bankruptcy. And while you may be like, I don't care, 15 million customers, their DNA is on the line. Because these companies, whether they're doing ancestry or whether they're doing genetic testing for other stuff, they scoop up your DNA and they keep it. Whether they keep it in computer form or whether they keep it in physical form. They believe that they basically own your DNA. So what happens when these companies go bankrupt? Some wealthy individual or company comes in and scoops up the company, not because they want the company, but because they want access to 15 million people's DNA. Whether they want to run computer simulations to see how their new drug would affect all these people's DNA, or whatever. And if you're cool with all that, well then don't worry about it. But if you're like, gee, I don't like them playing with my DNA, well then don't give your DNA to companies, please. Austin, Texas, police found multiple incendiary devices in the Tesla showroom in Austin, Texas. The attacks continue, and whoever's bankrolling them is also causing problems. Trump administration had a cabinet meeting today, and Elon Musk was once again in attendance, but what was on his hat seems to be what everybody's talking about. He was wearing a red hat with Trump was right about everything. I think that just sums about most of it up, doesn't it? Now, some people have already criticized President Trump with having these cabinet meetings and having Elon Musk there. I will note this. At least President Trump actually has cabinet meetings. Yeah. Previous administrations didn't have them very often at all, if ever. President Biden had like 2 his final year, wasn't it like 2 cabinet meetings, something like that, or maybe only 1. And Joe Biden seemed to be running it. Yeah, President Trump has too many cabinet meetings and has too many people in the room actually discussing things and actually solving problems. It's absolutely insane. This guy is such a tyrant. We need to get him out of office as soon as possible. We can't handle all this transparency and action and moving on agenda items that basically most Americans can agree on. All the stuff that they're getting bent out of shape over is stuff that they were pushing back during the Obama administration. Obama deported more people than President Trump ever has. But we're not going to talk about that, are we? We're not going to talk about how Obama started a Doge-like entity and then put President Biden, Vice President Biden, in charge of it. But probably should have been somebody else in charge of it, like anybody else. Should have gotten an intern and put them in charge of it instead of Vice President Biden. This is a quote from President Trump on the tariffs. I may give a lot of countries breaks on tariffs. So we got the April 2nd deadline coming up where reciprocal tariffs are going to go into place. We're going to have the Canadian and Mexican tariffs go back into place. We're going to have more tariffs that we're going to talk about in just a moment. And like I said, reciprocal tariffs. So any country that has tariffs on the U.S., we're going to institute basically the same tariffs on those countries. So hopefully Canada is going to like having 160+% tariffs on their milk, because that's what they have on the United States right now. Europe is not going to like what's going to happen to them because they got tons and tons of tariffs on the U.S. as well. That's what reciprocal means. You do it to us, we do it back to you. It's not an eye for an eye. It's just business, friends. Just business. Speaking of tariffs, we have new tariffs coming on now. President Trump has announced that countries that buy Venezuelan oil are going to get slapped with an additional 25% tariff. We're looking at you, China. I mean, I don't know who else we're talking about here. We're talking about you, China. Yeah, an additional 25% tariff on China if it doesn't stop buying Venezuelan oil. That's going to be a tough decision on China's part. I bet you they think that Trump's bluffing. We'll see. We'll see. That's what Trump went on to say is going to give breaks to a number of countries, but will be announcing additional tariffs over the next days. So he's not done hiking tariffs just yet. Now, maximum sanctions on Iran have borne fruit, apparently. We've told that that's not possible. Iran will never back down, and you can't put sanctions on them in order to get results. And yet now we're hearing that Iran is now open to nuclear talks with the United States, as long as it's not directly with the United States. So it has to be like other countries involved. So they're saying we need to have multilateral negotiations, not just, United States and Iran, but other countries at the table, which is a big shift. Iran has been saying we will not negotiate these things. We have a right to peaceful nuclear power, and we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to ignore any attempts to talk about it. And now Iran is ready to talk. Interesting. Gas prices across the United States are now at a one-year low and continuing to drop. It's amazing how all these things got solved so very, very fast. Egg prices dropping like a rock. Gas prices continue to drop. Other expenses that Americans have, we're seeing those prices coming down. 2 months, and boom. All the bad stuff is coming down in price, and other stuff is going up. The good stuff is going up. RFK, or Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has announced that he and his Health and Human Services are going to move to ban pharmaceutical ads on television so that the United States can join basically every other single civilized society. There's like one other country in the civilized world that allows the advertising of pharmaceuticals on television, and I forget which one it is. It's a nobody country. All the European countries, Canada, all these countries, they don't allow these pharmaceutical companies to advertise on television. Most of them don't allow them to advertise in print or other advertising, because why would a pharmaceutical drug need to advertise? If you don't have the disease that it's for, why in the world would they be advertising you the pill? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. And really what it is all about these companies, these pharmaceutical companies, owning our entertainment and news networks. Let's be frank, that's what it's all about. And we saw during the cough what it's like to have a news media that, over 50% of their ad revenue came from pharmaceutical companies. Gee, I wonder how they're going to cover these news stories. Let's think about that long and hard, how they're going to cover these news stories. Of course, they're going to cover it from a very pharmaceutical-friendly perspective. Friends, we got a lot of wins, and we got some losses out there on what's going on. But that would be one of the biggest things that we could have go right for the United States. We covered some things in the morning episodes today about U.S. aircraft carriers out of position and moving a second carrier into the Middle East. That's important information that we need to be underscoring a bit, because when we move a second carrier into an area, that means we may be getting ready to launch larger scale strikes. Now, we're already pounding the Houthis in Yemen, but we may be looking at targeting Iran, or at least putting significant pressure on Iran in the near future. And if we need to take apart the Iranian air defense system, we're going to need both carriers there. We're going to need our ground-based aircraft. We're going to need authorization from the countries nearby to allow us to use those air bases to attack Iran. And if we can't get that, we're going to need our aircraft carriers. We need to get those F-15s, F-18s, I believe they are. Oh gosh. We got our aircraft, I believe they're F-18s that take apart the Growlers, that take apart air defenses. Anyway, we got a whole bunch of strike aircraft that need to get up over the air in order to start attacking air defense systems. And if there's any kind of large-scale attack on Iran, that's going to be a very big deal. It's going to be hard for the Israelis to get their strike aircraft all the way to Iran in the first place. We're going to need to help them out by taking apart air defense systems, probably. But we're going to keep an eye on what's happening in the Middle East, especially with Iran. I think Iran is starting to get the message that they need to either talk or they're going to get punched in the nose. And right now, they got a lot of instability happening in their country, and so they don't want to get punched in the nose right now and made to look like they are not in control. All right, lots of other stuff happening out there. We'll keep you guys up to date and ahead of the curve. Thanks so much for being part of the Watchman community. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.